Hey guys, welcome back. Get over 50th, John. Today I just want to talk about something else that I think that's happening, especially with me being over 50. Like I said, I'll be 55 this year, actually in about probably the 19th of April. That's when my birthday is, so pretty soon. It's coming quick. But I think it's common for priorities and perspectives to shift with age, especially in the gay community. Many gay men over 50 find that things that felt urgent or defining in their 30s, like nightlife, appearance, dating, seem to become less central. Instead, deeper connections with health, personal fulfillment, and a sense of community often take priority. So, reflecting on this can be kind of freeing, I guess, in a way. Like what I was worried about in my 20s and 30s is completely changed. I was wanting to climb the corporate ladder was one. I started a family early. If you guys watch my previous videos, I was married previously. So, trying to make families succeed, work succeed, you want to climb the corporate ladder and get a better job, better pay, better things. I was really in my 20s and 30s, even maybe in my early 40s, I wanted to drive the nicest car. I wanted to live in the nicest house. Material things, have a nice watch, have a nice phone. As we get older in our 50s, especially when we start thinking about retirement, I think those things become less, at least for me, less evident or less important. I don't care what kind of car I drive, as long as it's dependable and fairly new. I don't need to drive a Mercedes-Benz. I drive a Hyundai. So if you guys watched my videos before, as long as I can get to and from work, I'm fine with it. Or get to where I want to go. I don't need material things because, one, I hopefully be retiring in 8 years. I mean, it's knocking on the door. I'm 55. I'd like to retire by 63, if not sooner. And having material things or spending a lot of money on stupid stuff that doesn't make a difference anyways, at our age, that's where we're at. At least in my age, that's where I'm at. I don't want to spend my cash that I earn on stupid stuff anymore, because I need to save for retirement. And I think as we get older, especially if our jobs change because we're getting older, and I think the workplace changes. I think they want younger people working in these companies now. They don't want the old guy anymore. Maybe back in the 70s and 60s, 70s, even the 80s, for someone to work 30, 35 years at one company was almost common. Now it's unheard of. I mean, people don't last in their jobs, I think, in general, for more than, probably 5, maybe 10 years. I was lucky enough to work my first job for 33 years, and I've switched twice after that. Now I'm on my third year with the newest company I'm at, and now I just want to get to 60. And that's, I work hard and I work 40 hours a week, but I'm not as driven per se I don't need to climb the corporate ladder or prove myself. I mean, at our age, we've already proven what we can do and what we bring to the table. So I think that changes as we get older. It just shifts the way our lives are. On nightlife, me and Miles enjoy a night out, going to dinner or going for a walk in the park or along the lake shore. We don't do clubs. We don't do clubbing. We don't intermingle too much with outside of work with like friends. We don't have a huge gay. We have 1 or 2 friends that are gay, but we don't like socialize really with them. More like on the phone or we get together like once every 4 months for dinner or something like that. But I think as we get older, like when we were younger in our 20s and 30s, I never got to live that because I was in the closet, as you guys know. I never got to live that lifestyle, going clubbing and hanging out with your friends and partying and in the gay society. I never got to live that. I didn't come out until I was like 40, 44, 43, 44, as you guys watch my previous videos. But I think as now we get at that age of 50 and older, that becomes less in my opinion, it becomes less important. If you have a different story, or share it, leave it in the comments, because I like to hear feedback. I always do like to hear feedback. But I just think as we get older, that's one of the things that happens, is where our shift changes. Another thing that changes, I think, is I really don't care what people think. When I was in my 20s and 30s, oh my God, if you didn't like me, or something where I didn't come off the right way, I was like, oh my God, they don't like me, or I need more friends, or I was always worried about my personal appearance, or what people thought of me. At 50, I really don't give a shit. I mean, I care, especially like my appearance. And I'm getting older. I mean, what can you do? I mean, you're not going to say 20 years old for older, but I think you can age gracefully. Hopefully I'm doing that. Don't know. But I think that becomes less adherent. I think it's more or maybe you want more peace, quietness, reflection. We're not so worried about what people think about us, or what we drive, or how we look. I think it's important, but I don't base that around my whole life like I did when I was in my 20s and 30s. So that's another aspect of just getting older, over 50. And then health. I mean, we are getting older. I'm noticing my body is changing way faster than I've ever thought it would ever change. I'm getting aches and pains and problems and health problems, but nothing major. But like I said, Miles and I try to exercise at least 4 times a week. Nothing major. We go for a walk, treadmill, light exercise, dumbbell, stuff like that. Nothing major, but for the fact that you have to keep moving, you have to keep the body going. I try to eat healthier. I try not to eat so much crap as I did before, because as we age and as things go wrong, it's harder to recover. I had some leg surgery done in December, and it took me 4 months to recover from that. I mean, it's what I had. I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, but I had heart surgery done when I was in 04. So I was 29, 30. I had my heart valves replaced and my aorta replaced. And I recovered, literally, I was back to work. It was on Thanksgiving Day I had my surgery. I was back to work a week and a half before Christmas, after having my chest completely cracked, heart removed, valves put in, new aorta. I think if I was to have that surgery done today, I definitely would not recover like I did before. So I think that makes a difference too. It's harder to recover. It's harder to bounce back if you get sick. So the best thing to do is just to keep moving. And that in of itself is just to keep moving. That can be a trial, especially for some of us who are over 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. But the important thing is at least move. Keep moving. Keep going. Try to learn new things. Keep the mind going. Miles and I, we do watch TV, but we play a lot of cards, a lot of board games. We like to travel in the car and see new things, just to keep our minds going. And it's always good to learn new things and see new things. I never get tired of learning or seeing new things. And that's just one of the things that Miles and I do. But as a group of, in our older age, we have to do that. I had my dad, when he was older, he retired at 63, and he sat in his chair. He didn't want to go anywhere. He didn't want to visit anybody. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He watched TV, sat in his chair, and he was dead within 9 months of after he retired. And just because he sat in his chair and didn't move. And I think if you become sedentary, in of itself, that can be a major problem in our ages as we get older. But no, so that's it about today. That's just wanted to just talk about that shortly today. And I also think, like, relationship wise, I think back in our 20s and 30s, we were like more of the excitement and maybe sex and love, but not a deep of that, not a deep relationship, you know. But as we get older and we get wiser and we slow down, definitely I think us as a group, you want love, true love, a deeper connection, not just obviously getting older. I mean, if you look at younger people, they got their bodies, their muscle tone, their age, their skin, hair, whatever. They're very young and they seem to be very focused on that. But in my opinion, I think that's superficial. But that's a younger generation. That's what they're they have their youth. But I think as we get older, that changes because we want like true lasting connections. I mean, I've been with Miles now 14 years, and it's been phenomenal. And I hope to have another 20 years with him. Do people live to be 100? I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. But that's what I'm looking for. I love to come home and have that connection. I can talk with Miles for 8 hours a day and not be bored. And I think a lot of people don't have that, and especially in a relationship. But for me to be able to sit with him when I'm not with him, I truly miss him. And it's, I guess that's what true love is, and a long-lasting commitment and bond with two people have. When I'm not with him, when I leave for work in the morning and I come home, I'm ecstatic to come home to him. And when he comes through the door after work, it's exciting, and I can just sit next to him and watch him. Is that weird, creepy? But I love him, and it's a long-lasting relationship that I think we yearn as older people, because who else do we have? I mean, if it's not your significant other, spouse, yeah, you might have friends and family, but I don't think the connection is as strong as it was when you were younger. I think especially as we get older, relatives pass away. I have a quarter of the relatives I had when I was growing up, cousins, and you don't even see your cousins anymore. It seems like in today's society, or a close-knit family. But that's it for today. That's what I want to talk about. Just what it looks like getting older in our community, and what's getting older at past 50. What's that like? And this is just a small snippet of what I want to talk about. So, but thank you for watching. Happy Easter. I forgot to say that. Today's Easter. And I hope you guys enjoy the videos I make. I appreciate you guys joining. We're up to like 187 subscribers. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could share, like, and subscribe, and then especially comment, because that helps my channel, our channel. I consider this our channel. And give me your feedback, what you think, what you like, what you don't like, if it's dumb, if you got something out of it. I tend to ramble a bit, but these are just my thoughts on a daily basis. So I also do TikTok. So I'm trying to get our TikTok channel up and running. I make stupid potty talks. I try to make them every day. We always don't get out, but to make them. But if you're interested in that, drop me a line and I'll tell you what our channel is. But thank you for watching, and happy Easter. Love each other, and hopefully your day is going well. And then once again, thank you for watching our channel. Thank you.